Hey everyone, how are we doing? I've still got the logo up right here. Let me switch. There we go. What questions are there? What are people working on? What questions do you have? I got the camera fixed a bit up. It looks better. Had to do it. Hey Jacobs, what's up? Jacob, I combined Jacob felt Jacobs. Hey Jacob, how are you doing? Good to see you here. What questions? We did some coding at the end of last office hours. We did so much. What are people thinking about? My graphic background has been going crazy lately. Let me go look at this. I'm doing well. It's nice. Just had a little bit of lunch, replied to some emails, trying to figure out why my background goes all not so perfect sometimes. That's not your variable types. Where is the background? I thought I fixed it. It's not screen. Where is it? New background. Here it is. Here it is. Why does it suddenly do this? My computer's probably just mad at me because I have like a billion things loaded. I'm using the hardware, use hardware decoding when available. I don't know. Yeah, it's now paused again. Why is it doing that? Start visualization 5 and don't know what the predictor variable is. Awesome. You know what? Visualization 5. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Let me pull up visualization 5. Let's go look at visualization. Hey, this is, you know, the more you understand what's going on in the class, the more you understand the variable types and everything, the better you are off. Maybe I need to find out. I probably have just like overloaded this computer. I probably am a fool. I have so many things. I load more and more things into Streamlabs, and like this is an awesome computer, but I'm probably like maybe I'm reaching the limit of what this computer can do. We'll find out. So visualization 5 is regression. This is one of the hardest chapters. This chapter is on the first test, and this is where people like just don't know how to do regression, and they're like, whatever. He'll go over to the visualization before the they're just like, yeah, whatever. I'll figure it out, and then they make a bad grade. And I'm like, no, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Okay, let's talk about visualization number 5 right here. Are we calling it predictor right here? Let me see the name of it. Predictor variable. Use mileage as the predictor. Okay, good. I don't like calling it predictor. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna call it predictor. I'm gonna put predictor in parentheses. I don't like calling it predictor, and I'll tell you why. Use this as the explanatory. It's going to correct that. There we go. Use this as the explanatory variable. Okay, that should give some huge hints right there. So, Sarah, what do you think the explanatory variable, which of those do you think it is? So we have here use mileage as the explanatory variable, which is the predictor. I don't like calling it predictor. I've never liked that terminology for it. I like calling it the explanatory because they do certain things. Explanatory variables explain, and it's kind of in the name what it is. It's like, well, what explains this? What is the explanatory variable? And you could say what predicts this, because it's going to predict the y. So I've just have it burned into my brain as explanatory variable. And the response, we always call y the response, like, why is this happening? So it should be kind of obvious right here as I add in a little extra wording to help. And thank you so much, like, just, you know, being here, kind of going through this and asking questions that other students might run into can maybe help me bring some clarity to these so I can put it in the instructions too. But doing a regression is not that hard. A regression is going to be pretty easy right here. And if you're 320, I'm going to do regression 2 ways because 320, the whole class is regression. All of 320 is regression. So we have a whole class on this topic and we learn how to code. So we're using the used car data set and we need to do mileage by price. Okay, let's go ahead and take the used car data set. Let's open up the data right here. Jump's opening up and here we are. Mileage and price. So there's the only, we got lot right here. Oh, that's like that's not an identifier because ID is identifier. Oh no, I guess we could do year. All right, so I can do one that's not our problem. I hate how these variables look. You see, I just want my data to look nice. Nice looking data. Everything works well. Country has to go out to here. There we go. And so to do regression, here's a big note, Sarah. To do regression, what kind of variables do we need? To do regression, what kind of variables do we need? To do regression, what kind of data do we need? To do regression, what kind of data do we need? And so the hint is in the assignment itself. When we have mileage, which is like how many miles, And then we have price, which is how much is the price of the car. And I think chat's still going. Everyone's just really quiet. So what kind of variables do we need to do regression? There's a key thing right here. Regression takes these types of variables. It's a bivariate display. Regression is a bivariate display. And I might reload chat here in a second. Just make sure it's running. Let me see if chat is working properly. Oh, wait. Oh, good. Hey, Jacob. Thank you so much. Quantitative. And so you are right. It's quantitative. And what do you notice about this? It is quantitative. Great job, Jacob. Thank you so much. It is quantitative. And what do you notice about this right here with regression? Hey, what's up, Ryan? So good to see you. Ryan Mubot, we've reset everyone's points. Sarah's leading the way this semester. We got new points. My hairs just keep getting longer. Maybe one of these days I'll get a haircut. It's getting crazy. It just like randomly goes into my mouth because my hair is too long. Hair's getting way too long. I'm just gonna grow it out till it's down to like past my shoulders. I don't know. I shouldn't say such things. Oh, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. You're always free to ask questions. We have the Discord still going, and people can do that. You should show up to class with a headband on one day, like an 80s headband. I need to order some 80s gear. So that way, hey, Ryan, check this out. You ready for this? Check us out, Ryan. You ready? On over. We've got two types of... You see it? Stop doing that here. Oh, thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate it. We got a lot of new stuff this semester. I have too much fun with this. I need to make it so I hear Puppet Shark. He says, yeah. Let me actually do that right now. I'm going to change it so I can hear Puppet Shark. At least on this screen. I am fixing Puppet Shark so I hear him. You're going to hear Puppet Shark again. I need to go to monitor and output, and now I will hear Puppet Shark when he says, yeah. Oh, I don't? What's going on? Do you guys hear Puppet Shark? Puppet Shark's going to come after me. The person who makes it, they're going to be like, You can hear it? Okay, good. I don't know why I don't hear it. I'm supposed to be able to hear it. Unless I've got... I don't know. I'll fix that later. But Ryan, we should know, and Ryan knows this, that when we do regression, because Ryan's taking regression, so you've got your hours, and then he might reset your status. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I reset the points. That way I could track everyone's points again. But now I also have your extra credit like as part of it. So yeah, you see you've got your old status before I put the extra credit. So like if Sarah shows you her points, or like Jacob, you'll get to see like their status and their extra credit. Because everyone knows like, how much extra credit do I have? And it's like, okay, now it's in the points. Now your points will tell you. Like Sarah's will actually tell her she's actually got max extra credit already. And that's awesome. So, and we're making like new levels right here. So you can see people's levels, and yeah, look at Emily's checking her points. Awesome job. Good to have you here, Emily. Let's just throw 20 points out to the chat. I'm also doing this semester where, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Could you go over chat? Yeah, let's do that. Is this making, I think we answered Sarah. Does this make more sense? Grace, we'll do that. Grace is wondering, could you go over chapter 2 quiz for 201? We'll definitely do that. I need to step it up, Emily says. We just gave everyone 20 points. But is this making sense, Sarah, what to do right here? You're going to take and fit y by x. You're going to interpret the intercept, the slope, and then is the relationship statistically significant? Include the variables. So the work you're going to do is you're going to go to analyze. I'm going to do Grace's question here in a second. So mileage goes in the x and price goes in the y. That's correct. You'll go to analyze fit y by x. You'll go right here. I'm doing different ones. I'm going to see if the year explains the price. Do you see how I say is year explaining the price? So year is the x, price is the y. And we go right here. Then we go to fit line. And it looks like there's an issue of linearity. I'm not going to get into that right now. But here is the equation. So I'm going to make it really big. Okay, cool. And I wish it didn't wrap around to the new line. Okay, let's make it smaller. Okay. Here is the regression equation right next to me right here. The second one right there is the slope. Let me highlight the slope. This is the slope right here, which is B1 for each 1 unit increase. And here is the intercept, which is a ridiculous intercept, but it does go negative. It might be hard to see that when it hits the x-axis, it's all the way down there at that value right there. That's an extrapol... What? Whoa, there is a data point that low. It's not an extrapolation of the model. I mean, technically... Oh, yeah, because 0. What am I thinking? You'd have to go all the way back. Yeah, the model is next. You'd have, yeah, I totally did this wrong. It's when x is equal to 0. So the year being 0 does not really make much sense because to talk about year 0 for a car is a bit ridiculous. That's why the intercept is so insane right here. We need to do negative. So here we're going to hop over, but this right here is a bit of a crazy graphic. What have I done? Oh, wait, there we go. The intercept is an illogical intercept. It does not make any sense to talk about the intercept value right here because we're saying when a car has year 0, we'd expect its price to be negative 4.5 million, something. So the intercept is not logical. This is for each additional year newer a car is, we'd expect the price of a car to increase by $2,275. Or 320, two cars that differ in their year by 1 year are expected to differ in their price by $2,275, where the newer car is expected to be to sell for more. And it makes sense. Newer cars sell for more, and it's kind of the 1 year difference. Just so we can see the visualization one more time, then we'll hop over and do the My Pearson assignment. Thank you very much, Grace. Good question right there. Here, explaining the price of a car, the visualization should look more like this. And if we put the line through it without going to the intercept, which the intercept is a huge extrapolation of the model, you can see the year-to-year difference. And this is integer data, so you're seeing this line of data because these are all 2019, these are all 2020 cars, 2018 cars. So good stuff right here. And you've got your R squared, the percent of variation Y explained by the variation X. But Sarah, keep working on this. Ask some questions if you got it. You are like 2 weeks ahead, and that is awesome because when we get to regression, I think it'll make a lot more sense. Sarah, how difficult are you finding? Should it look like the line of dats? Because mine had a bunch of dats everywhere. Let me see what yours should look like. I mean, why not? Let's go take a quick look real before we go to the next topic. Yours should look, okay, we're using mileage to explain price. Yours is going to look like that. That's what yours is going to look like right here. Something, and you'll have a random sample, so this is not the answer. But yours should look something like this. The reason mine looked different is because it was more integer data. Mileage can be in like decimals and stuff. But yours should look, yeah, awesome. Yeah, if you're getting something like this, you are on the right track. Then make sure to know where your intercept is and where your slope is. You also see the slope and the intercept down here. You don't need this section of the output. You do need all of this right here. In our class, you will need to analyze this, how many observations there are. So only the top and the bottom here and these values here. Let me highlight what you need to know in our class, and we're going to skip over to my Pearson. What you need to know in our class from this output is you need to know this equation. This is the regression equation, B0 plus B1x. You need to know R squared. You know that for our class. You need to know how many observations, that's sample size. Here's B0 again, here's B1 again, and you don't need to know the standard errors or the t ratios, but then you'll need to know the p-values. This is everything you are responsible for understanding the context of for this output when we get to this chapter. You don't need to know root mean square error, which is typical mismal-mate. You don't need to know R square adjusted, which is R square adjusted for the amount of variables in the model. Mean of response, that's just the mean of the Y variable. Standard errors, that's dividing by, anyways, I'm done. It's divided by the square root of the sample size. Some statisticians are like, why are you not teaching them that? Because it's not that important in Stat Tool 1. Where's my music? Didn't I hit it? Did I break something? Do you guys hear the music? Real quick question. When I play this, are you hearing the music or not? What did I do? Do you hear music or no? Oh, I know why. Look at the soundboard. I've got a soundboard over here. So this controls my volume over here. So I can at any point. I can also mute myself in this. This is the sound effects. We haven't heard that many sound effects this semester. And then this is my headphone volume for what I'm listening to. Pretty nice. Thank you once again, Haslam College of Business. Let's get serious right here. So can you go over what to include in the write for visualization number 1 for visualization 3? You got it. We can do that next here. We're going to do chapter 2. And then Parker, you got it. We'll do that next here. Let's hop over to chapter 2 for my Pearson. My Pearson. Chapter 2. Let's do this. Class is not over. Just checking out. I'm logged out of my Pearson. We will do that next here, Parker. After my Pearson. Chapter 2 quiz, my Pearson. Coming right up. Stay tuned on Stat 201. Stay tuned on Stat 201. I don't like that announcer voice right now. As the song nears an end, we are going to go over Chapter 2 quiz. Let's do this. And we did do... Okay. Here we are. Chapter 2. And so, Parker, if you are wondering, we did that. Did we do that one yesterday, Sarah? If you want to look for it right now, Parker, I do have it labeled in the video. Wider or taller cells than the other. I think we did that yesterday. So does that make sense? If people can confirm, I think yesterday we did all the write-ups for Visualization 3, but we can loop back to it. So if you're looking, yeah, so that way if you're like, oh, I just want to go straight to that video, no worries. And then if you come back here and you're like, hey, I still got questions, we'll do it. Awesome. Let's do this. So yeah. No, that's awesome. And this is due tonight, I think. So this is a good like tap road thing. So let's do this. Is this distribution unimodal or bimodal? Help me out, people. The more help I get, the better we do. Is this unimodal, bimodal, or unimodal? It's not. Uniform means it's flat. Unimodal means as one mode. Bimodal means as two modes. I don't know how to do two modes. It's unimodal. Nice job, Elizabeth. Great work right there. It's unimodal. Now, this is the one. It's right to the high, left to the low, whatever way the tail goes. I always get worried on this one. Is this tail going to the right side or the low side? Just pretend that outlier doesn't exist. Pretend that outlier doesn't exist. Pretend. Don't look at that outlier. It's definitely what now? Be very careful. Right to the high, left to the low, whatever way the tail goes. Is it to the high side or the low side? Is this right to the high, left to the low, or whatever way the tail goes? What way does this go? It's right to the high. This is to the high side because the tail, the little monster tail, like this is his face right here, little smiley face, and then this is the tail up here. So it's being pulled to the high side a little bit. The center of the distribution is in the 40s. I'll answer this one. Oh, 30s. Okay, cool. 30s, sure. The number of home runs range from 8 to 72. What does this represent right here? This is helping you read a stem and leaf right here. We're going to ask a few questions on stem and leaves. What does that 166 represent right there? What does 166 mean? So these are the observations. All these things over here are the observations. This is the number line for it. So we see here the observations and the number line. The bin widths are 10. So this is the zeros, the 10s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. Exactly, Jacob. Excellent answers, Jacob. This is 41 home runs, 46, 46. It's like you're looking at Mark McGuire's home runs, I believe. It's so funny. Julio took this class, and I think they used the right data, but Julio was like, oh, I know Mark McGuire. You bet, Catherine. We'll do some medians for the box plots coming up here. We'll see that here in just a moment. An unusual feature is the 8 home runs. I need to talk to Julio so he can swing, but really? What did we get wrong? Someone point out. What is it? This is not. Is it really? Okay, good. Right to the high, left to the low, whatever way the tail goes. Oh my God. I'm not happy about that. That's an easy mistake. Holy cannoli. That's an easy mistake to make. Uniform means it's flat. Unimodal means it has one mode. So uniform, just to very quickly, I blinked and saw the wrong thing. It's very easy to make that mistake. I've had people make it on the test. The top one is uniform. So this is uniform. And this is unimodal. We'll put it below it. So unimodal means one mode. Uniform means one form. So I do make mistakes. Let's go ahead to our stonks with this. So Mubot does not give stock advice. Oh wait, Mubot, wake up! Don't give stock advice. Where are you at? So we'll have Mubot do that. There we go. Now Mubot should be counting. Well, be careful how you invest his investment advice. Here, let's look for one that does the median here. Let's look for one that does the median. Okay. So we're going to find, Catherine, this one right here is how to find the median. So when you have a data set like this data set right here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers. With 11 numbers, like my face is the 11th number. If we put these numbers in order, what should be the median? If you put these numbers in order, what should be the median? If you put these numbers in order, the blank number would be the median. Here's the 11 numbers with my face being one of the numbers. If you put these numbers in order, what would be the median number? There's 11 numbers. If you put them in order, what number? Like the order number. Great job, Elizabeth, right there. The 6th number would be the median. So we don't need to put them in order. We can have Jump do it for us. We're going to copy to clipboard. We're going to hit Control or Command C. We're going to go over to Jump. We're going to open a new data sheet right here with File, New Data Sheet. I'm just going to pause right here on New Data Table. Once you have the new data table open, full screen it. Good to have you here, Claire. We're going to Edit, Paste. Be very careful. Sometimes you have to paste with column names. Sometimes you don't. If you paste with column names when you shouldn't, it'll look like this. This is wrong because the data is in the column name. You want the data to look like this. Be very careful. If your data has column names, paste with column names. So we'd want to paste and not paste with column names in this instance. And maybe we'll see examples with pasting with column names here in a little bit, but just double check. It should look like something like this. You could actually sort this yourself and find the answer. So let's go, either's fine. 6th number right there, it's 44. So that's one way we have it now sorted. Jump did it for us. The answer is 44, but we can go to Analyze Distribution, and it's going to give us all the information right here for us. You can see that the median is right there at 44. There's the median. It's the line in the middle of the box plot. And there's the median right there, 44, 36, 59. So 44, 36, 59. Did I memorize them properly? The answer is yes, I did. So what do you notice right here? With technology, these questions are pretty easy to solve. So utilize Jump to your advantage. Utilize Jump as much as you can. If you can utilize Jump right here, did everyone see how I found this information? And I'm able to get the Q1 and Q3 right here. There's Q1 and Q3. Who knows what the IQR for this data set is? You should know IQR for this like instantaneously. Just like, boom, IQR. So that's something, like once you know how to find the IQR, it's like, oh yeah, it's distance between those two numbers. So the IQR is going to be what? And you can cheat and find it. You can cheat and go right here and be like, what's the IQR? 23, nice job, Jacob. Yep, 23. Just good practice. I mean, imagine if there's a question on the test that says, what is the IQR? That you just type it in your calculator, go 59 minus 36, and you've got the answer. So the good news is if you know how to find the IQR, any sort of IQR test question, and it's like, what is the IQR? It's the range of the middle 50%. It goes from 36 to 59, which tells us how far apart these two numbers are. And the box plot visualizes the IQR right here. The box plot is the visualization. And you can see it goes from 36 right here, because that's where 36 would be at if you trace down. And it goes up to 59 right here, which is where it would be at if you trace down. So that's got that question. Let's do more of these. The standard deviation. Oh, so what would we use to analyze this? So what is the proper measure of center and spread? Really good test question right here. I look at this. I know the answer immediately. I know the answer immediately to this. Would it be A, B, C, or D? Let's do some betting on points right here. Mubot up here, and let's do some betting. So we'll go with betting on answer. You can bet up to 20 points. So bet on the answer to this question. And the answers are A, B, C, and D. So what do you say? You can bet up to 20 points. And A is 1. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Don't bet. Did I not add D? Start the betting again. So look at the distribution, and is it A, B, C, or D? And so really the only 4 or 5 words of this matter. I put in 0 because I just don't want people to bet 0. So feel free to bet on this. When I look at this, I can tell immediately what the answer is. So we need to look at the shape of it first. The shape of it is unimodal symmetric. It does not have outliers. That's a normal curve right here. We call this the normal Gaussian curve, unimodal symmetric. We'll be doing a whole chapter on this curve. So does anyone, you can get 20 points if you bet right here. Maybe people are afraid. Someone's like, I'm waiting until someone else bets. Exactly, Jacob. So follow Jacob's bet if you want some points right here. I'm not trying to give away the answer, but I'm just saying. We're not going to use median. Median's for skewed data. IQR's for skewed data. And so what you'll notice right here is the mean and standard deviation are for unimodal symmetric data. Both Jacob's in the lead right there, and Andrew getting some points. So put your bets in now, quick. If you want to get some points here. This is unimodal symmetric data. The mean is going to be the center, and the standard deviation is going to be the spread. So with that, there's some free 20 points right there. Sorry, Elizabeth. Sorry. Wait. We'll do another bet here coming up. Sorry about that. The answer is going to be C because it's unimodal symmetric with no outliers. Sure. Is there a different version of this question? Like, can I see a different version? Ah, there we go. So so this right here, thank you, Elizabeth. This right here is a median in IQR. So I was like, hopefully it doesn't just keep showing the same question, but we should know instantaneously we see a right skew unimodal distribution with outliers. There's no gaps, but at some point these will become outliers. Like it's right skew, and at some point these are becoming outliers right here. So that is definitely that. We did that one good. Oh wait, I'm doing all show completed. We don't want to see completed versions. Do I have 3 of those on this? 1, 2. Okay, well I'll be. So this is going to be median and IQR, and there we go. And now we get to this one right here. Okay. This one is tough for a lot of people. This is a tough one. So I think people can tell where the mean of this distribution is at. Where is the mean of this distribution? This is the easy part that everyone gets. Everyone's like, obviously the mean is this. So let me see right here. There's 2 answers. The mean is closest to this because the balancing point of the histogram. You see, I think I know why people could get this. This is where people might click this answer by mistake. Is it B or D? Well, I kind of give it away with what I said. Is it B or D? And then why is D wrong? This is B. So why is D wrong? D, when it says it splits it into 2 equal parts, is talking more about a descriptor of what? If we talk about it splits into 2 equal parts, that's saying this is, D is the median. D describes the median. It gives the value of the mean, but it describes it as the median because the median is the 50th percentile. It would split it into 2 equal parts. So great job right there, Jacob. And then this is where people usually get stuck. Like, how in the world am I supposed to figure out the standard deviation? Let me explain how to figure out the standard deviation. We did this during another office hours, but when you do the standard deviation and it's properly used, you should usually be able to go out 3 standard deviations above or below. And this is a big thing you'll need to know for chapter 5, but we do talk about it with like the curve here. So you go out 3 standard deviations, then that encompasses most of the data. So let's say we have grades on a test. What do you think the average grade is in Stat 201? Like for the first test. And we'll say that this data is normally distributed. That means we have this sort of shape right here. When I say this capital N right here, that's normally distributed. And an 80, let's go with an 80. If it's 80 this semester, I'll be super happy. Stop color changing pens. So we're going to go 80. And then the big question is, what do you think the standard deviation is? So what do you think the standard deviation for this curve would be? So if you go up and down 3 standard deviations, that should encompass 99.7% of the data. What is a good kind of estimate for the standard deviation? Like 50? 50, remember, standard deviation is not the whole range of the data. It could be 5. I think 5 is good enough. 5 is good. I wouldn't go any lower than 5, and I'll show why here in a second. So here's what it would look like if it was 5. If it's 5, it'll go 85, 90, 95. And maybe we want to do like 6 or 7. So if we do 7, I'm going to go with 7, and I'll show you why 7. But 5 was good. Like sometimes people say like 20, and I'm like, I wouldn't go 20. If we go 7, it's going to be 87, 94, 101, which puts kind of the upper grade people are getting at a 101. Now, the grades aren't always perfectly normally distributed because we're going to have grades that are lower than this. But do you notice what I'm doing right here by going up and down? I think I just made a math error. I did. My brain said, It makes that noise when I make math errors. There we go. So the first number up top is the mean of the distribution inside of this lingo, this notation. It's the mean and the standard deviation. So the mean is the center. So we'll put a little mean next to this guy. This is the mean, and this is the standard deviation. Well, standard deviation being the value of the difference between these. The mean is at the center, and the standard deviation is going to be the difference between them. Does this make sense right here, Hannah, how we can draw out the normal curve, put in the mean and the standard deviations, and we'd say we'd expect most scores on the Stat 1 exam to be between a 59 and 101 for the first exam, excluding some outliers. Yep. So when you look at this, I want you to think about this graphic we have right here, and if you were to go up and down $1 from here, boom. So what do you think the answer is? A, B, C, or D, or A, B, or C? What looks to be the proper answer for if you went out 3 standard deviations, it would encompass most of the curve? So 3 standard deviations up and down should encompass most of the curve. Like the typical distance a value is away from the mean. What looks to be the answer? A, B, or C? Looks to be like if we go out 3 of those, 3 up and 3 down, that would encompass most of the data. Like pretty much all of it. A, B, or C? I bet people will get it now. B. Nice job, Jacob. Yep. B, if you go down 3 of them, like 1, 2, 3, you'd be down here. And if you go up 3, you'd go up 1, 2, 3. And that is the answer. That's how we figure out the right amount, or like kind of an estimate of what the standard deviation would be. Think about this. Let's talk about like yards, like maybe the average yards a football player gets in a season is, so we could use this graphic right here. The average yards a football player gets in a season is maybe 1,200, like for running yards. So if we put 1,200 right here, and we say it's normally distributed, then what do you think the standard deviation would be? And make it a nice number. What do you think the standard deviation would be? Like what would be a decent standard deviation? It's like normally distributed. The average football player gets 200. Could be 100. Yep. And then we'd go up here. So this means pretty much excluding outliers. We generally see. So maybe we could exclude the top 5 players in the NFL because they get ridiculous yards. So maybe we could say excluding the top players in the NFL, we'd expect pretty much all, like we could say first tier running backs, like what are they, position 1 running backs, to get between 900 and 1,500 yards. And if you increase the standard deviation, you'll just make it wider. Probably the best way to demonstrate this would be where I can actively change it for you. And let's go to the David M. Lane curve. And this is where life gets easier in chapter 5 when we actually do this a lot. With 1,200 right here and 100, you can see the differences there, but you could up to 200. You notice now the number line just gets further apart. So do you notice here that this controls the center of the distribution? Notice how I changed the center, and this controls the spread of the distribution. That controls how far apart the numbers are. So hopefully this is making sense, because chapter 5 is all about this. Like if you understand the mean is the center, literally controls where the center of that is, and the standard deviation is the spread, controls how far apart those numbers are from it. That's what this mean and standard deviation do for the normal curve. They control the center and spread. It's going to keep saying those words over and over again. So let's do more questions here. Get all of these done. Sure, the mean is at where 3.20 because it's the balancing point, and then the spread is going to be this again. Repeat question. Oh, these are in like a bank. You won't see all those. Like here we go. Okay. The accompanying histogram shows the running times of 150 top grossing feature films released in a certain year. Complete parts A through C. Okay, what do we got? Describe this. Who can describe this? Who can describe this? I need words for this. I see a word right here. I see a word right here. And I see a word right here. So I see we need 3 basic words. There's a little bit of a word right here. So we've got something going on here. We got something going on right here. Can I download this data? I don't think I can. I wish I could analyze it. Because I don't know. I analyze it on my own. I was like, just give me the data points. I'll do my own graphics. So we have one word right here. We have one word talking about this, like the, you get what I'm saying? And then we got words for these over here. Think about the shape. Shape's very important when we look at this, because we can kind of memorize what's going on right here, because we can see what's going on here and with that, and we can see what's going on with this, and we can see what's going on with this. So what words do we have to talk about this to start that are going to help us? Because that's all the information we get for this problem. Any words. Tell me any word, and I will figure out the rest of them. Who knows a word for this? Just be thinking about what would you call this, and what would you call this about it. Unimodal, symmetric, with some low outliers. Thank you so much, Jacob and Hannah. It's unimodal, it's symmetric, it's got some low outliers. So with this, the mean of the distribution was about at 105. Would it be surprising to find that student movies ran for 2.5 hours and 150 minutes? Where's that? 150 minutes? Oh, come on. That's such a iffy thing. Why didn't they put it there? Let's see here. Yes, because most of the movies in distribution run 150 or more. No. Yes, because only a small number of the movies. That sounds right. I don't like these. This is not one of my favorite questions right now. Would the mean or the median for runtimes for all movies be expected to be higher? It looks symmetric to me. I'm worried about this one. What do we say? We say not today, my Pearson. I'm worried about this one. Let me look at that distribution again. And I can't get the data points. You see, look, it. Okay, is this right? Oh my gosh, that scared me. Just give me the data. Let me just let me look at the data. Because I said it was symmetric to start. If it's symmetric, then we would expect them both to be about the same. But if it's right skew, if the distribution was right skew, what would have been the answer? If the distribution was right skew, what would have been the answer? If it's right skew because of the outliers, like if the high, because if I'm to guess, it has a little bit of right skew. And I'm like, I'm overanalyzing that. It looks mostly symmetric. And you get the answers in the video. So you can be like, oh, Brian worked this one. He explained what it is. So if it's right skew, and this is something you should know, what would have been the answer if it is right skew? So if it is right skew, then what does that mean? What will, well, it wouldn't be that low. It's going to be right about here. So what would number 1 be and what would number 2 be? So if it's right skew, if it's right skew, the mean will be higher than the median. If it's left skew, the mean will be lower than the mean. The mean follows the skew. The mean follows the skew. Whatever direction the skew goes in, the mean follows the skew. So that's a huge note to have. Just conceptually, we should know that. If it's symmetric, then they're both in the same spot. A small warehouse enjoys, oh, this one's tough. A lot of students don't. This is a tough one people get wrong. It's not tough, but it's common mistakes I see on this one. So a warehouse has a supervisor who makes 1,150 a week, an inventory manager who makes 800, and 6 stock boys who make 420, and 4 drivers who make 480. So what you want to do with this one is you just want to put it into jump. Like this one is way easier if you put it inside of jump. Like don't try to do this on your own. You can do it on a graphing calculator inside of jump. We're going to go to a new data sheet. A new data sheet can be found by going to File, New, Data Table. You'll get to the point I'm at right now. So this is how to get a new data table inside of jump. And then let's go right here. Let's enter in 1150. I'm going to pause and do this. What error have I made? I'm going to give it a moment. I want you to think about what error have I made. And there might be a way. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try something I've never tried. Because there might be a quicker way. So this is the quick way of doing it, which I'm just thinking through with what I've learned about jump. If this works, I'll be very happy. That's the quick way. And here's the long way. If I hadn't been using jump for years, I would not have done it this second way. Let's go 420, 420. Is that 6? That's 6 of them. And 480, 480, 480, 480. Okay. So this is the quick way of doing it. The other way is the long way. So let me do it the normal way right here first. This is, look which data set I'm in. If you enter it this way, analyze, distribution, double click, click OK. And then I would stack this, and you can see kind of the right skew nature to the distribution, and that's the answer. This data sheet right here will give the same answer, hopefully. Fingers crossed, never done it this way. Analyze distribution, salary, but then you have to put frequency into there, and we do get the same data set. So I was able to achieve the same result. It's just that we had repeat data, and everything does look the same. Yes, like triple checking. Did it make the graphic little? I just expanded this. So yes. So hopefully people see. I would probably suggest if you're new to jump, I'd suggest entering it in this way. Oh my gosh. So I wouldn't do it Brian's quick way because it's just easy to make mistakes, or we don't usually enter in data that way, at least starting out. So I'm just putting this next to me right here so I can talk about it. Just remember, these are all the data points right here. We can see all the salaries of the individuals. You can also see the heights of the bar right here. Let's add in a histogram option just to practice, count access. And here's the individuals. There are, to enter in too many? Oh yeah, no, this just has all these people here. You can highlight and see which people these are. You could also make a stem and leaf just for fun. Let's go make a stem and leaf just to review. We should know that stem and leaves are univariate quantitative displays of data, and we should be able to read this, that these are the 6 people who make 420, these are the 8 people who make 480. You might say, wait, that says 48. Remember to look at the key right here, 4-2 represents 420. So 8-0 would represent 800, and 11-5 would represent 11,500. So make sure to look at the key in the stem and leaf, because 4-2 is not 42, it is 420. You can also see that in the data set over here. So I think we have all the answers we need. The mean wage, let's go get the jump data pulled up. The mean wage is going to be 532.5. The median wage is going to be 450. How many employees earn more than the mean wage? Well, there's the mean wage. I think it's just 2 because it's a right skew. Which measure? Okay, so we should know this. Which measure of center are we using? Instantaneously. Like when you look at the shape of this, these are key concepts you should know just like in a second when you get to the test. What is the proper measure of center? What's the proper measure of spread? So these are key concepts you should know. Boom, Jacob, you got it. Like once you see this, it's like that's median because it's very skewed. So we go here, the median, but it's not the, I think, wait, the mean is not a good measure because it is affected by a multitude of, no, that's not it. It's the skew. The mean is because it's affected by the 2 higher salaries. And the IQR is the better measure spread. The standard deviation and the range are both affected by the 2 higher salaries. Woo! Getting them all. Nice job right there, Jacob. Great answers. Okay, another data set. This one's easy. If we copy into Jump, we're going to go to File, New, Data Table. And we're going to paste, and not paste with column names. So Edit, Paste. Life is really easy right here. If we go to Analyze Distribution, double-click the variable, click OK, and then click Stack. Slow down the video. Slow down the video. If you need to see how I did that, I'll show it one more time because I know someone's watching this. But like, slow down, slow down. Analyze Distribution, and go to Columns right here, the one we entered in. Click OK, and then go to the red arrow, just to make it look nicer, and go to Stack. And I think that's most of the answers. Let's see right here. Okay, so the 5-number summary, it just wants to know we can see that. It's 234, 38, 9.5, 494. Please tell me these numbers are right, because sometimes it gets mad. So I'm going to put this over here so I can see it. I'm just entering in the, you can see in a second here. I just need to have it on the screen so I can see it. Please don't get mad at me, my Pearson. I removed the question that had an issue. And 606. I should like that. The IQR, I'm going to totally cheat and find the IQR. And I'll remove this question if this question gets mad and says you didn't get it right, because Jump is right. 163. It's just the distance between these two numbers right here. So all we're doing, if you're wondering how I find that, you can just subtract these numbers. But in Jump, you can ask for the IQR. I'll show it. Just someone's wondering, how did you get the IQR? Don't worry. Let's do it. 552.5 Q3 minus Q1 389.5. So it's 163. The mean of the distribution, well, this has to be correct. There's no other way. 472.2, 1 decimal. 472.2. I'm going to make another typo. The standard deviation, never find this by hand. I do not see why anyone does that. 1 decimal, so 95.9. Let's see. Determine if the distribution of scores is symmetric or skewed, and describe the middle 50%. So it wants to describe the IQR. Okay. Is it symmetric or is it skewed? Let's look at that distribution. Oh, it's got skew. I really hope they don't say that's symmetric. You can see that the mean is lower than the median. So what way is this going to be skewed? And we're also going to do a cheat thing here. We're going to go to skewness, and it'll be a negative number. Let's see how negative it is. It's pretty negative. I don't think they're going to go for symmetric. I'm going to change the bin widths just to look at it. This is a trick to change bin widths. All I'm doing is trying to confirm my answer. Yeah, it looks left skew. I mean, the mean is lower than the median. So I'm going to say it's left skew. It's left skewed because the mean and the median are not approximately equal. And so we're going to go with that right there. Describe the middle 50%. And now here's where we can check our answers. So let's make sure everything's right. Okay, so here's the issue. These answers are how they're calculating it, and I really don't like that. And I might even remove this question later. But because this says 391, and here's Brian's tips for this question, put in their numbers. And you see now this says 552. And I really don't like that. So here's the issue. That changes our IQR, and I'm probably going to be removing this question later. So 552 minus 391 is 161. It's just that they're using slightly different formulas to find the IQR. So please take a note on this question if you get to it. When you get down to the bottom here, your numbers should match these numbers. So whatever these numbers are, put them up top. And I'll probably be removing this question here in a little bit when I get to my Pearson stuff. Just very sorry. Cross your fingers, hit check answer, get 100. That's what we do. But they just use slightly different equations for the Q1 and Q3. It's just that there's some literature. And here's the issue, though, and I need to talk to my Pearson about this. Some of their questions work perfect for these, and some don't. And I need to talk to the people who wrote this question and be like, you need to put in more acceptable answers. And also, why do you not use consistent equations? Because why are you switching between the two that people use to find Q1 and Q3? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Let's do some easy questions right here. A student surveys her neighbors in a residence hall and asks how many siblings each one has, which would not be a valid way to display the data. So they ask how many siblings they have. So this one should be pretty easy right here. Who knows which of these would not be a relevant? I think this is a great test question. Like this one, if you know it, is like, boom. So they ask, how many siblings do you have? How many siblings do you have? This one should be pretty quick. When you get to the test, you should be like able to see these displays and be like, oh, no, that one's wrong. That one's for categorical. The question up here is quantitative. So the way to answer this is like, how many siblings is quantitative? So which of these is for categorical data? We asked a univariate quantitative question. So here's the tip. There's two histograms, and histograms are always quantitative. So histograms are always quantitative. You were right, Jacob. Excellent work. Keep it up. You know, if you're watching live right now, let's just give everyone 20 points for Jacob right here. Thank you so much, Jacob. Ed plus viewers. I'm waking everyone up. Mutebot's going to wake everyone up with the points right there. So that is correct. Let's look at the next one. A histogram that looks pretty much like the same, what's the same on the left and the right side is going to be what? So this histogram is like this. It looks like this. Here's the thing. You don't want to click the answers. You want to think about it and be like, okay, it looks pretty much the same on the left and the right side. So if it looks the same on this side as it is on this side, it's going to be symmetric. I want to say it before I click on it. That way you don't think I like saw it. I was like, oh, Brian didn't know it. Brian never knows the answers to these. It's going to look symmetric. I've done these questions a lot. Another student. Nice job, Jacob, right there. Excellent work. Both Jacobs leading the way today. Another student surveys members of her student club and finds that the balance of their credit cards is strongly skewed. She would be better off reporting which statistic as a typical balance, the center. There's only two answers that are possible here. What are the only two possible answers? Like there's only two possible. It's saying it's skewed. Well, I guess if you, okay. Skewed brings it down to two answers. Center brings it down to two answers. And those have an overlap in one area. So if we say skewed, the answer is either median or IQR. If we say center, it's either mean or median. So the overlap between those two answers, because exactly, and Jacob's got it, since it's skewed, the proper measures would be the median and the IQR, but the issue is IQR is a measure of spread, so the answer is median. So just by process of elimination, like skew makes it, this answer could be for skewed, this answer could be for skewed, but the only answers for center are going to be these two. So once you know it's skewed, it's like, okay, that's going to be median. It's important to know how spread out tightly clustered data is. Which of the following is not a measure of spread? Which of these, one of these is a measure of center right here. The others are measures of spread. And so what is the measure of center that's currently on the screen? And this is practice doing things like this. Be like, yep, D, you guys are crushing it. Amazing work. D is the measure of spread for symmetric unimodal or symmetric data. And then both of these right here are going to get impacted by outliers. The standard deviation and the range are highly impacted by outliers. The mean and the standard deviation go together. But the mean is a measure of center. tells you the middle of the distribution or the average. Ooh, we're back to hard questions now. We see some stem and leaves. This one is tough. This one, a lot of people, people will be very happy when they see this one right here in the video. So what this represents right here is if you see 2.0-3, that means a number like this. Like this number right here, this 2.0-3 would be represented right here. So we see it here, we see it here, we see it here. What I want us to focus in on is to do a process of elimination on these upper numbers. So what should we see if this is correct right here with this 2.2 something? What should we see up here? So we should see a price like 2 point what with this? Like we should see prices what? If B is a correct graphic, let's see if B is the correct graphic with 2.2 and then these, we should have 4 observations. That's an observation, that's an observation, that's an observation, that's an observation. And we should see what? 2.2 what? We should see one observation that is 2.25, one observation that's 2.27 something, one observation that's 2.27, another one's 2.29. And as far as I can tell, I only see this one. Does everyone see how I only see this observation here? So does everyone understand how we've eliminated this one as a choice? This has been eliminated. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here to the 2.2, the lower 2.2s, and we want to see if we see 2.21, 2.22, 2.24, because let's see if we can eliminate this one. And do we see 2.21? I don't. Do you see how there's not a 2.21 up here? There's not a 2.22 up here. There's not a 2.23. So we could also check this to make sure this is the right graphic now, because I think we've chosen this one. What should we see right down here at the bottom? We should see something that starts out what for this? So there is a everything says it should have 2.03. Like all these graphics confirm that. But we should also see another number up top that has 2 point something something. Like what should we see up top in the data? We should see a data point that says 2 point something something to confirm this is the right one. Because we've kind of process eliminated it down to this one. Exactly. Great job, Jacob. And we do see that right here. This number right here is that one right here. We've confirmed 2.00, and this is like what it will be. 2.00 is this one right here. So that confirms this is the right graphic by like a process of elimination. This is a little right skew. I hate it when they give graphics that are a little bit right skewed. Can I copy? Cool. Let me go look at the data myself because they give me the data. So I'm just going to go here. We're going to paste the data. We're going to go to Analyze Distribution. Really? We're going to Analyze Distribution. Double click. Click OK. And let's check the skewness by going here to Customize Summary. It's got a little bit of right skew. I'm just worried they're going to say it's not. It's going to have positive skew, which is right skew. Well, they called the other one with negative skew of negative 0.7 left skew. So let's go with right skew. Right to the high, left to the low, whatever way the tail goes. And just so you can see it as a histogram, if my histogram would show up, right there you're seeing it as a histogram, and you notice it looks a little more right skewed in this. It's the same data being displayed, so you can see the histogram right here. I can also make a stem and leaf. They might draw it differently on this, but here's the stem and leaf here. So they do draw it differently, and it's pulled out to the high side a little bit. So right skew, the prices seem to be centered around what? 2.08 maybe? Cool, that's close enough. It's close enough. The prices range from, so we should be able to put in the full thing right here. 2.03, 3 decimals, okay, cool. 2.039 to 2.279, I believe, right? 2.279, cool. 2.279. Do you see any unusual features? Oh, unusual features. Thank you so much, Jacob, giving some answers in the chat right there. Okay, I do kind of see one. What do you think is the unusual features? Unusual features are outliers and gaps. So I do think I see one. Unusual features are outliers and gaps. And I do think that is going to show up as an unusual feature. So they're talking about the gap right here, which it creates an outlier at 227. So let's go with that. Let's go with it. Oh, what did we do wrong? Really? No, that was right. The prices seem to be centered around. That's the center. Oh, really? No, it was right skew. Where did I make the error? Did I punch in the wrong? It's the right graphic. Where's my little error? So we know it is right skew. My error must be so small. Oh, is it? Oh my gosh. We even talked about that point. We even talked about it. We even talked about it. We explicitly mentioned it. I need you guys' help here. You see, this is why I just prefer to like go here and boom, I should have just looked at my data. There's the min. It tells me it. So truthfully, if I had looked at the jump, which I did the output for, think of Jacob, and Mubot knows that. That's quote 9. Mubot definitely knows that quote. Mubot, what do you think about all this? Mubot, got any words on this? Mubot. That's 2 mistakes today. Oh man, we can't be making mistakes here. You guys got to make hundreds. So watch out. It was the minimum. I was like, why did we make the mistake? I glanced and I didn't see the extra point right here, which is right here. That is the minimum. This is why I prefer to just enter my data into jump and look. Boom, there's the min, there's the max. We got it. So if you want to double check, put your data into jump. A lot easier if you do that. Really easy to overlook. But we know which way this is skewed. Be very careful. Which way is this distribution skewed? Which way is this distribution skewed? The answer's on the screen too. You can see it. But this one we should know instantaneously which way it's skewed. And a lot of people make the mistake because they just drop it down. It's right to the high, left to the low, whatever way the tail goes. So the measures of center and spread will be the median and IQR because it's so strongly skewed. Without doing any calculations, which will be larger, the mean will be larger. The mean will be larger. I'm not making another error. From the stem and leaf plot, find the median and the interquartile range. Okay, so we got to do this the hard way. We have 51 regions right here. 51 regions. This is like the least fun question. I feel like deleting this one too. So with 51 regions, let's go out and make a map right here. This is probably one of the worst questions. I'm going to keep complaining about the questions. Okay, with 51 regions, so what we need to do is the following. You go right here, and you could enter this. Here's the thing you could do. You could enter this all into jump, and then you won't have to find it by hand. Or we can do it probably, this will be a little bit quicker than typing all those numbers. So with 51 data points, the 26th number, and I'll show you how I found this. The way to find the median is to do the sample size plus 1 divided by 2, and that is the median. So this gets you the median position right here. But now that there's 26 numbers here, the 13th number here, and the 39th number here would be the Q1 and Q3 respectively. So there's the Q1 and Q3 respectively. Let's go find those numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're right in the middle of the threes right there. So 3, which I think that represents 3, does it? Double. Where's my key for this? Oh, in millions. Okay. So it is 3 million right there. And let's go back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, cool. So this is 9. I'm crossing my fingers on this one. So the IQR is going to be 6 because it goes from 3 to 9. And the median, is that correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Oh, I hate that that's right there. The median is going to be that. I want to double check it. I'll write a few sentences to describe this distribution. Let me vanish. The distribution of populations of the regions is right skewed, is unimodal, and is skewed to the right. There is one outlier. Cool. That's got it. Not that fun of a question, but not that bad. Also, if you didn't want to find it by hand, you could enter these into jump by going over here to a new data sheet and entering in all these data points, just like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and you could enter all these in. So that's another way, and then you could also order them, but all this stuff. No, this one's too big for the exam. I kind of really don't like this question. I don't know. Not one of my favorite questions. I would say the exam wouldn't have a question just like this. This is too much work. Like, I don't want to, like, I'd prefer you to look at the mean for this data set and the median for this data set. Too big of a data set, but not that bad for homework questions. Sometimes homework questions, we want you to do a little bit more because you can use resources. Where on an exam, we make it simpler and we ask more conceptual stuff. So let me ask this right now. What is the best way to know what the exam will look like? What is the best way to know what the exam will look like? What is the best way to know what the exam will look like? Who knows a good way to be like, oh, I bet the exam will look something like this. Any way to like be like, I should really get a good like idea of what the exam is going to be like for this class. Who has a suggestion for the exam? And we did this one earlier, so this was like question 1. So unimodal doesn't look as right skewed now. Ooh, how dare you change this distribution? Because we did one of these earlier. See, they changed the distribution. They changed the way it looks. They are cheating. I'm going to cheat too then. Do that to me. They are skewing it to the left. They are pulling it a little bit to the left right here. So watch out. If you get the baseball question, I thought they were changing it, and they're pulling it a little bit to the left. And you do see the outlier up here. So this has a little tail to the left here. Ignore the outlier, just so you can see, so you can get hundreds on the quizzes. They're calling this more of an outlier with a left skew distribution. Like the first one we did, they're calling this more of a, oh, see the version can change. They're calling this more of a right skewed, right to the high with a low outlier. So this is a right skewed distribution with a low outlier. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. If you can see right here, that's still a right skew distribution, and I'm trying to generate a left skew one. But sometimes you get generated the left skew distribution with the low outlier or with the high outlier. So this is going to be a left skew distribution. Just ignore the high outlier here, and you see mostly a left tail on this, or a low tail. So a little bit of a change there. Watch out. I think that's why my brain breaks on it, because I know the question and they change it on us. This is another perfect example of one you would not do by hand. Like we don't expect you to write out all these numbers, but we do expect you to understand how to pick the right stem and leaf. Now I want you to look at, oh good, the 46. So 4.6 something. Does there look right across here at these numbers? Let me highlight these numbers so you can see. This right here looks to be a good region for us to see if the answer, which one of these is the answer. So we're going to look up here at the data, and we're going to see if we see 4.6 something. I do not see any 4.6. Is that what everyone's noticing? So what are the possible answers right now? I do not see any 4.6 something. So what have we narrowed the choices down to? I do not see 4.6 something. There's no 4.6 anything right now. So what are the possible answers with there's no 4.6 anything? Unless my eyes have missed it, I'm pretty sure there's no 4.6. So what are the only possible answers since there's no 4.6 anything? A and D. Nice job, Jacob. And so now let's go to right here, and let's look at this. Do we see 5.01? There's 5. Oh, there it is. Wait, 5.1. There we go. And I'm doing this correctly. That's 4.6 something, right? And we don't see 4.6 something. Good. So we do see 5. Or it should be 5.01. Should be 5.01. I misread. I don't think we see 5.08. Oh, here it is. That's the one right here. 5.08 is this one, and that's this value right here. I misread. My brain blinked on and off for a second. These two values right here, this confirms the answer is D. So 5.08 and 5.05 are right here. That confirms the answer is D. We narrowed it down to these two choices. So the answer for this question must be D. The answer is D. Which of the following describes the graphic? Ooh, are they going to say this is bimodal? That's a little bit more than outliers. That looks to be a little bimodality. Or it's to the high side. So this looks right. It's not left skewed because this is right to the high, left to the low. The distribution is skewed to the right, possibly bimodal, with one of the groups being at this, another group at this. Oh, and they're doing left skewed right here. Yeah, it's going to be right skewed. I think it's a bit of an interesting distribution. I think that's good. So this is the right skew. This is the left skew. I'm going to go with right to the high, left to the low. Let's end strong here. Yes, we did it. So because it's pulled more to the high side, and then we've got a little bit of bimodality here because that's more than just a few points. Tricky questions. We did that one. We got only question 2 right here. This is a dot plot. We did this one last time too. Dot plots just stack up the points you see. So when you see 2 1s right here, let's look. There's 2 1s here. And we've got it narrowed down to A, D, or F. Let's look at 5. How many 5s are there? 1 5 here, 2 5s. There's 2 5s. So it might be F. And, oh man, how many 3s are there? Are there 4 3s? 1, 2, 2, 3 threes. Okay, I think it's this one. Let's check. 2 ones, 2 twos, 2 twos, 3 threes. How many fours? 1, 2, 3. Yep. Is that 5? Wow, that's 5 fours. That's a lot of fours. So this looks to be correct. Let's check with 5 fives. 1, 2 fives. Yep. So explain the distribution. This is a left skewed unimodal distribution. Unimodal, not uniform. It is a little bit left skewed. The center of the data. So here's how to find the center of the data. Are they going to go with the median? Because we said it's skewed. So they're going to go with the median because we're calling it skewed. And so the median is going to be the average of 2 numbers right here. If you want to get the median using jump, copy to clipboard, copy the data, go over here, open a new data sheet, file, new data table, paste in your data, and we're going to go here to analyze distribution, double click. And here we go right here. We can still see the left skew. And because of the left skew, we're going to use the median, which is 3.5. And since you're averaging together 2 numbers, and it has to be whole numbers, the answer, I guessed, was 3.5 because you have to average 2 numbers together, and so you're going to get a 0.5 something. The spread of the distribution goes from 1 to 5. And describing any unusual features. And there's no real gaps or outliers. Did we do it? Yes, we did. We did it. I think there's one more question. We did this one, right? Question 5. What's question 5 and why didn't we do it? Oh, it's a repeat. This is a unimodal, mostly symmetric distribution with, that's not really big outliers. It's just a little further off. So the mean and standard deviation, I think right here, oh, that's median. I knew I was going to make a mistake. There we go. There we go. We have now completed every question for this homework. How do you, Grace, Jacob, anybody, how do you feel? And feel free to ask questions, but do you feel better about this homework and this content? Hopefully, these are all making sense right here and how to do them. Like these concepts using the mean, standard deviation, histograms, stem and leaves, dot plots are all kind of like, yeah, I understand what's going on with these. Awesome, Jacob, awesome. Like it's kind of like an hour review session right now, just reviewing, you know, we should know that histograms, dot plots, stem and leaves all display univariate quantitative data. Pie charts, bar charts are all categorical. What other questions are there? Let me hop back into space. Put on some chill music. We'll go to space right here. Let's put on, I think this one. I like this one. I like the piano in it. What questions are there? We'll see. It's chill first week. We should have checked out the boss. Mubot. Hey, let's go talk to Mubot real quick. Let's go over here and talk to Mubot. How you doing, Cody? You doing all right, Mubot? Mubot's been chilling out. As it gets closer to the test and the project, we'll hear from the boss. But Mubot's just chilling out.
Watch out for the test and the project. Be prepared. Start early. Don't wait till the night before, or the night of.
Oh my gosh. What just happened? Puppet Shark, you here to help us out, Puppet Shark? You got any advice? Oh, you're not here. You don't exist in this world. Puppet Shark is not in this universe. He's not in the universe of boss battles. Any questions? What is anyone thinking about? As we just chill out on the boss battle screen with Mubot here. Our friendly neighborhood Mubot. Might head off here in a second. My hair's just gonna fly everywhere. With this, we'll head off here in a moment. I have to peace out, but you're welcome, Jacob. We're just here for the chill vibes. You know what? Let's end here. We're gonna drive off here. Let's leave in style here. Everybody, good times. Excellent office hours. You're welcome, Jacob. I'm just gonna head off here in my usual. Let's do this. Bye, everybody. Bye for now. Bye. I can't go off the screen. Bye.